if you're a woman who's been struggling to lose weight or keep the weight off when she's lost it, and you've chased every single diet, every single fad, and every single exercise regime there is, thinking you're doing all the right things and wondering why you can't lose the weight, or when you do lose the weight, you can't keep it off, this podcast is for you. Hi, I'm Christina, and welcome to Beyond the Diet, Weight, Wellness, and Womanhood, a specialized channel just about how you as a woman can learn exactly what you need to lose weight and keep it off for the long term once you've lost it. So today I thought I would play with this conversation that I have a lot when I tell people that I teach yoga. Because generally when I say I'm a yoga teacher, the first thing that people say to me is, I can't touch my toes. I'm not flexible enough to do yoga. And it's almost like that's the universal measurement for flexibility and strength and being able to do yoga, is being able to touch your toes, which is a real myth. And I thought we'd bust that myth today, because it's not about whether we can touch our toes or do any other yoga pose. The practice of yoga is about us showing up for ourselves and us making progress on our path. And it's not necessarily even towards a destination. It could just be that we have shown up for the practice, and in doing that, we are progressing forward in a direction in our lives. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I thought before we do the centering, we would play with not being able to touch our toes and just myth bust right from the beginning, and then we'll come back down and do the centering. So if you've got, it looks like you've got your couch there, or if you've got two blocks or something that you can lean your hands on. So a lot of the time people kind of say, if we come up to standing, people are like, well, I can't bend over and touch my toes, so I'm not flexible enough to do yoga. Now, here's the thing, is that you actually don't need to bend over and touch your toes. So we're going to just play with what we can do. So there's a lot of ways we can vary touching our toes and cheat our way into it. So the first thing is, normally I tell you to stand hips distance apart, but I'm actually going to tell you to take your feet out a little bit wider than hips distance apart. So I'm going to actually face you. All right, so feet a little bit wider than hips distance apart, but keeping them parallel. That's it, perfect. And now just begin to bend your knees. I know, right? So that it's a little bit of effort coming into the belly here, but that's okay, because taking your legs out wider and bending your knees is the cheat's way of being able to touch your toes. Now you can lean forward, and when you lean forward, what I want you to do is tip the pelvis forward so your booty moves outwards, and try and keep your back nice and long. Now, I don't know what sensation you're feeling in your hamstrings right now. You can have your hands on your thighs, but that might be feeling like, oh, this is a good sensation in my hamstrings. If it's not, yeah, it is. Like it. If you want to play with taking it a bit further, you could maybe bend down a little bit deeper and try bringing your hands to your shins. Yeah? How's that feel in the hamstrings?
Oh, it feels good, actually.
Good. Nice. And then part of that practice then is maybe then just playing with, can you begin to now just straighten the legs by pushing the knees backwards, and just see how much of a straightening into the legs you can get. So you can, maybe if you have blocks or a table or a couch in front of you, you can place your hands on a table or a chair instead of on your shins. But this is opening up into your hamstrings. There's no need to kind of touch your toes with your legs straight. You can have your feet out wide, knees bent, and whammo, you might be able to touch your toes. Looks like you can. Perfect. Boom. You can do yoga. Nice. Place your hands on your hips, elbows point towards the ceiling, and rise all the way up. All right. That you passed the universal test. Coming down. Now, sitting on your oh, I forgot to grab myself a blanket or a towel. So sitting on your blanket or your towel, you can, I'm going to just sit on a block. We just take our thighs back and apart. So you bring your right hand to the inner left thigh and just give it a good twirl around, and then do that on the other side. That's it, perfect. And then lift the pubic bone towards the navel on your exhalation and sit up nice and tall and close your eyes and focus on your breath. And breathe deep down into your belly. Building this awareness of you focused on your breath. With every inhalation, draw a little bit deeper. And with every exhalation, let go of everything that happened before class. Everything that's going to happen after class. And allow yourself to settle into being right here, right now. And every time you inhale, just acknowledge the fact that you're here, and just being here is progress. And as you exhale, let go of any thoughts that it needs to be perfect. And this time inhaling, bright breath in. You can bring your hands together in front of your heart, and then exhale, just lift your, drop your head towards your chest and inhale. Lift your head and open your eyes. Now, staying seated on the towel, just place your hands on your legs. Now, we're going to focus on not only working into our hamstrings today, but also what we call the anterior tilt of the pelvis, which helps with opening up into the hamstrings and clearing the lower back. So when you're sitting here, you can bring your hands onto the hips and just find the pubic bone. That's the bone underneath the skin, and just help it as you inhale. Just help it tip forward, and you'll notice that that creates a curve in your lower back coming forward. And then as you exhale, lift the pubic bone towards the navel, zip up, and you'll notice that, yeah, you got it. I saw that. Perfect. And then we'll just do it 2 more times, just tipping forward. And then as you lift the pubic bone towards the navel, it tips back. Lovely. And rounds out the lower back. So if you just pay attention this time, as you tip forward, you'll notice that tipping forward creates the curve in the lower back. And then as you lift pubic bone to navel, it flattens the lower back, right? So what we want to be doing is creating a curve in the lower back and then supporting that with the lift of the pubic bone towards the navel. You can place your hands now on your knees, and we'll just do the cat-cow action, but seated. So playing again with that action, there's the inhale, the pelvis tips forward, lengthen through the side of your body, bring your chest forward, take your shoulders back. And then as you exhale, round your shoulders, draw your ribs in, draw your belly back, round it. There you go, perfect. Just a few more times, just inhaling and close your eyes. And then exhaling. Just feeling into your body. Noticing any places where you might feel any tension, any pain. And allowing yourself with every exhalation to just send some letting go into those spaces. Beautiful. And last time, coming into the cat. And then inhale, coming up into the seated position. You can take your left hand behind your seat bones, sitting up nice and tall. Bring your right hand over to the left knee. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. And then exhale, just twist to look over your left shoulder. See if you can keep both seat bones anchored evenly on the floor. And with every inhalation, it's a nice tall lift through the spine. Gorgeous. And then as you exhale, just twist to look over that shoulder. Inhale, unwind, come back to center. And then take the second side, bring your right hand behind you, bring your left hand over to the right knee or the right thigh. Inhale, take that bright breath in, and then exhale, twist to look over your right shoulder. And again, with every inhalation, there's a lengthening through the side of your body, and with every exhalation, a twist. Inhale, unwind. Gorgeous. And make your way now into table. So bringing the knees underneath your hips, hands underneath your shoulders, and just roll your towel up or your blanket up and just place it between your thighs so that you're squeezing the towel or the blanket all rolled up. That's it, perfect. With your inner thighs. So this is just to help us bring our awareness and our attention into, so I've got the block between my legs, into that pelvic tilt action. So we're going to do the cat-cow, but this time in table. I want you to really focus on using your inner thighs to move the blanket or the towel backwards, and that creates that tilt, the anterior tilt of the pelvis, and bring your chest and heart through. Then as you exhale, round the spine, lift the pubic bone towards the navel, draw your belly up towards your spine and come into the cat. And then inhaling, take those inner thighs back, create that curve in the lower back, broadening across the seat bones, lift the chest and the heart forward. And then exhale, rounding, lifting pubic bone towards navel. Inhale, coming through. And just feel the block or the blanket moving between your thighs. Just helping you kind of bring your awareness and your attention to that movement of your pelvis. A few more rounds of the cat-cow. And then we're going to inhale, release that. Beautiful. Release the blanket and make sure your strap or your belt is handy. We're going to come lying on our back, please. So have your feet, knees bent, feet hips distance apart, and nice big and close to your seat bones. And lengthen through the side of your body. We're just going to just bring that pelvic tilt in again, just to help us feel the movement of the lower back on the spine. So the hands come to the upper thigh, and as we inhale, we push the thigh bones away, and that creates a curve in the lower back. So if you ever get any tension in the lower back, it's normally from the hamstrings, and the tension at the lower back. So pushing the thigh bones away and creating that curve and that broadening helps create some spaciousness. And then exhale, lift pubic bone to navel, draw your belly back towards the spine. And it's like you're zipping up from your pubic bone up towards your navel, and you'll notice your lower back comes back into the floor. So it's almost like ab exercises, gentle ones. And then again, pushing the thigh bones away, creating the curve in the lower back. And then exhale, lift pubic bone towards navel. Last time, pushing the thigh bones away, creating that curve in the lower back. That's it, perfect. And then lifting pubic bone towards navel and rounding the spine. Wonderful. Grab your strap or your belt. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. So give it a nice big hug in towards your chest, just massaging the knee down towards the armpit, just working into the belly region here, into your intestine, etc. And now take the strap around the ball of your left leg and inhale, straighten your left leg. Perfect.
There we go.
There you go. I like it. It's like a lasso. And see if you can get the heel of the foot in line with your hip so that it's nice and straight. And see if you can, just like you did earlier with the pelvic tilts, push that top of the thigh bone away from the hip socket. So you're creating some spaciousness there. And push the back of the thigh bone just behind the knee away too, so that your leg is nice and straight. We'll just hold here for a few breaths. So part of the I can't touch my toes is tension in the lower back, which we're trying to clear, and hamstrings. And even if you still can't touch your toes at the end of class, you will have made progress, yeah? And the progress is just bit by bit, little by little, moving in the direction. So today we're just focusing on working those thigh bones back into the hamstrings, allowing the hamstrings to open up. Nice. Now take the strap in your left hand and just place your right hand on your right hip and begin to open your left leg out to the side, keeping your hips stable so that the left leg moves out to the side, opening out to the side, keeping it straight. Have your toes spread. Perfect. And just take it as wide as is comfortable for you and as wide as you can keep the hips evenly placed on the mat. So there's no need to take it super duper wide. That's perfect, Kirsten. And just feel the shoulders on the mat. And then inhale, come up. Beautiful. Release that. Place your left foot on the mat. I'm just going to roll over, but hug your right knee in towards your chest. So just hugging the knee in towards your chest, and just notice how easily it comes up towards the chest. Just take a few breaths here, allowing everything to settle. And now take that belt or strap around the ball of your right foot, lassoing the foot, and then inhale, straighten the leg. Keeping the left knee bent for this round. Push the right thigh away from the hip socket. So similar to what we did earlier in that pelvic tilt action, you're just creating space in the hip socket and opening in the hamstring. The leg just goes straight up, so the heel's in line with your hip joint. Pushing that back of the knee into the thigh. And just noticing what's happening in your body. Paying attention to the sensations. When I first started practicing yoga, there were a lot of sensations. And now the sensations are different. So just learning to listen and notice. And now taking your belt or your strap in your right hand, you can place your left hand on your left hip and just begin to open the right leg out to the side. Coming into that, opening up into the inner thighs, keeping the leg straight, pushing through the balls of the feet into the strap or the belt. Blasting through any myth or misconception that you can't do anything. Because the truth is, if you tune up and you practice anything, you'll be able to do it. So the measure of success is making progress towards a worthy goal, whatever that goal might be. And then inhale, bringing that leg up. Lovely. Release the strap, bring the knee down, give the legs a bit of a shake, and we're going to go back to the first side again. So this time though, we'll see if we can add in an extra level of progress. So hugging your left knee in towards your chest, taking your strap or your belt around the ball of your left foot. Inhale, straighten your left leg. Now the right leg is still bent. You're going to push the left thigh away from the hip socket. So you're creating spaciousness in that joint. And the invitation this time is to increase this experience by straightening your right leg along the mat. So rather than having the leg bent, you just straighten the leg and notice what happens to the sensations in your left leg. They may stay the same, they may change.
They change.
They changed. Good noticing. And that's progress, right?
Yeah.
You can straighten the leg and the sensation changes, and you can still keep the leg straight. Now take the strap in your left hand, place your right hand on your right hip. You're going to have to work a little bit harder now to keep that right hip stable as you begin to open your left leg out to the side. So you want to keep that right hip anchored on the mat, the right shoulder, left foot flexed still. You're doing so well. It's amazing. Leg straight. And as soon as the right hip starts to move off the mat, just stay there. Notice whether the sensations have increased or changed here. And the progress is this ability to be in your body and build a stronger container for stronger sensation, for deeper opening. Lovely. Inhale, coming up. Nice work. Release the strap, bending the knee, place the foot on the mat, and second side. Bending your left leg to start with. Hug your right knee in towards your right chest. Take the strap around the ball of your right foot and inhale, straighten the right leg. So take that hand to the thigh bone, push the thigh away, creating a curve in the lower spine. Lift the pubic bone towards the navel for stability. And then extending, taking the practice a little bit deeper, lengthen your left leg out long. And notice what happens to the sensations in your right thigh. Right hamstring, sorry. The challenge increases. Just one more breath. And then take the strap in your right hand, place your left hand on your left hip and begin to open the leg, the right leg out to the side, keeping your left hip anchored, just opening it as far as you can without lifting that left hip up off the mat. Gorgeous work, Kirsten. And then inhale, coming up. Beautiful. Release the strap, bend the knee, place the foot on the mat. Just place your strap beside your mat and roll to one side to bring yourself back into table, please. Stepping from here, your right foot forward, coming into a low lunge.
Oh,
Oh no. Wait till you feel the next sensation. Take your hips back so that your left hip is over your left knee. Inhale, begin to straighten your right leg. Lovely. You may need to come up onto the tips of your fingers. So you're going to work that thigh bone back into the hamstring. There you go. Is that back hip over the back knee, or is it kind of sunk back a little bit?
oh, it sunk back.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
There you go. Look at you. Half splits pose. So just gently hug the muscles of the legs to the bones, and just like we did in the lying down version of the hamstring stretch, push the thigh bone back into the hamstring, and energetically just draw the heel of your right foot up into your belly, so your belly lifts. And can you even hear, just try and imagine just taking the thigh bones back. Notice how that changes the sensations. Woo!
It feels really, really tight.
Yeah. That's why I was going, woo, you can make noises. I like to make noises, and that just lets the sensation out. And then exhale, just begin to bend that front knee, place the foot down, and then step back, coming into table lunge, table again. And the good news is you have a second side. So stepping the left foot forward this time, give it some help. So I like to use my hand to help it come forward. Coming up onto the tips of the fingers just to give yourself some height, just lean forward a little bit. And then inhale, drawing the hips back. See if you can stop the hip over the knee. You might need to just move that back knee back a little bit. And then straighten into your front leg and lift the toes up in your front leg. Looks like you're almost doing the splits there from this angle.
Oh, believe me, I'm not.
Looks really good. But
I should really have my mat round the other way, shouldn't I?
oh, it's all good. I can get a pretty good see what's going on. So hug the muscles of your legs to the bones, and that just helps create safety and security in your legs. So that's engaging the muscles to the bones. And then just hug the heel energetically up into your belly. So it doesn't actually move, but you might feel it gently kind of move up into your belly. So what we call an isometric movement. You might feel that engages your hamstring a little bit. Yeah, good. You got it. So that engagement of your hamstring from the isometric movement helps keep the hamstring safe as you open it. And you'll be feeling some lovely sensations.
Yeah, they're super.
Yeah. Just breathe into those. Just one more breath. And then exhale, bend the knee, place the hands and come back into table. Lovely. And then just walk your knees up towards your hands. And if you can, just make your way back into that wide-legged Uttanasana. So take your feet out just a bit wider than hips distance. Bend your knees if you need to. Place your hands on your shins. Do that anterior tilt of the pelvis. Beautiful. And just notice if you can take your hands a little bit lower and maybe push your thigh bones back into your hamstrings. Just see if anything's changed from the first Uttanasana we did after a few simple movements. Beautiful. And now place your hands on your hips, elbows point towards the ceiling. You can bend your knees, ground down from your hips into your feet. And inhale, begin to rise all the way up. Nice. So coming into Tadasana, standing with the feet hips distance apart this time, and nice and parallel. So I think I talked about that yesterday in class, is making sure that you've got that parallel from the second toe ball down to the middle of the ankles, and that you ground the four corners of the feet, the big toe ball mound, little toe ball mound, inner heel and outer heel into the mat. So now hug the muscles of your legs to the bones and hug your shins towards the midline. And energetically, that isometric movement we did in the runner's stretch, hug from the heel up into your belly, and just notice how your belly activates when you do that. Now imagine that the blanket is between your inner thighs, and move the blanket backwards, right? So by turning the inner thighs inwards, right? And that creates that anterior tilt in the pelvis that we played with earlier in class. Keeping that, place your hand on your lower back here and one hand on the front of the belly. Lift the pubic bone towards the navel. and draw up, zip up from belly to navel so that you've still got a little bit of the tilt, the curve in the lower back and the freedom, but you've also now got that engagement here. Lengthen through the side of your body, roll the head of your arm bones back. Nice. Now we're going to turn to the long edge of our mat and step our feet out wide. Keeping Tadasana feet, so you can turn your heels out, Kirsten, that's it, so that the feet are parallel still. You might want your blanket in front of you just to raise the floor up from the, raise the floor and lengthen your arms. There you go, nice. Perfect. Place your hands on your hips and just bend your knees so that you've got a little bit of give in those hamstrings, right? So that anterior tilt of the pelvis, right? Hands are on the hips. You're going to keep the spine long and just tip your pelvis forward, taking your thighs back. So you're hinging forward at the hips, right? So that tilting of the pelvis forward just turns the hamstrings back a little bit and the thighs back. That is so gorgeous. Perfect. When you get about halfway, you can release your hands and place them on the towel in front of you. I'm going to place my hands on some blocks. Nice. Just to give yourself a bit more height. Whew. Perfect. And the knees are probably not as bent as they were when you started to tip forward. So I want you to bring your attention to the back of the thighs and the bend of the knees. And can you then now begin to straighten the legs by pushing the thigh bones back into the hamstrings and tipping the pelvis forward? So there's a curve in your lower back. That's amazing. Your back is so straight. Fabulous. Anchoring into the four corners of your feet, just working those thigh bones back, the pelvis tipping forward. Into that space, can you lift pubic bone towards navel and engage your belly? Saying hello to those lovely hamstrings. I don't know about yours, but mine is shaking.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So much of the pain in our bodies or in our backs or wherever it might be is just coming from muscle tension and tightness. So just taking the time to stretch it out just gives so much release to the whole system. Now, can you carefully place your hands on your hips? Yeah, beautiful. Pull your elbows up towards the ceiling. Push down from your hips into your feet and inhale with pubic bone to navel to rise up. Wonderful. Nice work. Okie dokie. So from here, we're going to turn the heels in, toes out, and bend deep into the knees to come into goddess pose. So just saying hello to your hips. You can shake from side to side a little bit, anchoring into the feet, maybe go up and down. Just creating some nice strength and opening up into the hips a little bit. Nice. And we'll just hold this for a few breaths, just bending down now. Making sure your knees are working out over your toes. That's it. You can do that by just lifting pubic bone to navel. That helps move your knees outwards. Yours look pretty good. One last breath. And then inhale, straighten your legs. Turn your toes in and just walk your feet back together. Give them a bit of a shake. Alrighty. So it looks like you have a couch behind you, which might be handy for the next two poses if you want to move your mat a little bit back closer towards the couch.
Clear the room.
It's perfect. That's it. Absolutely perfect. Nice work. And we're going to take our feet out wide again. Making sure they're nice and parallel. So returning to that Tadasana feet. Yeah, perfect. Nice work. And this time turn your left toes out so that they're pointing straight towards the front of the mat. That's it. Nice. And bend deep into your left knee. So the left knee is over the left ankle. Wonderful. So you can inhale, reach your arms up and come into something that we call warrior two. So this pose is working into your hips and your hamstrings. You might be feeling a little bit of a sensation here. And see if you can anchor evenly into the back foot as much as into the front heel. Perfect. We'll just hold here for another breath. And then inhale, anchoring into the front heel. You're going to straighten your front leg, keeping the toes pointing in the direction that they're pointing. Bring your left hand onto your left hip and reach your right arm up. And then reaching with your right hand as far as you can go, just allow it to land. And I'm going to suggest that your hand lands on the couch behind you.
With my right, did you say?
Sorry, your left hand. I'm mirroring you, so that the left hand, reaching with your left hand.
Yep.
I'm mirroring you, but then talking as if it's my right hand. So there you go. Just bringing the hand onto the couch or maybe onto the quadricep or onto the shin, whatever feels good for you. Staying evenly placed, four corners of the feet. And even here, can you try that posterior tilt of the pelvis? So just tilting the pelvis forward and then into that space, lifting pubic bone towards navel. I know. And you can take the top hand up for the last breath or two. Coming into full expression of triangle, Trikonasana. Gorgeous. And then inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, arms down, toes point forward. Fabulous. All right, let me make sure I get my sides right this time. Turn your right toes out. Make sure that your back foot is mostly parallel or slightly turned in from the parallel edge of the back mat. And then we're going to bend deep into the right knee. Making sure the right knee is over the right ankle. So it's not jutting forward of it or it's not behind it, but see if you can get it over the right ankle. If you need to move the back knee forward to support the back foot forward to support that knee being over the ankle or backwards, you move the back foot. Perfect. Now just check out, make sure you can see the big toe of your front foot so that the right knee isn't collapsing inwards but moving outwards. Yours looks pretty good. And then inhale, you can reach your arms up, warrior two. Looking out over that middle finger. Opening up into the hips and the hamstrings. Strengthening into the legs. Just making progress. Just because we showed up. And then last breath. Place the hands on the hips and inhale, straighten your front leg. Keep that leg straight, leaving your left hand on your left hip. Inhale, reach your right arm up. Then hinging forward at the hips. Let the hand land wherever it lands. So if that's on the couch, maybe not on the knee, on the thigh or below the knee, that's it. Twisting the heart open. Keep working the thigh bone back into the hamstring, just like we did earlier, lying on the floor. And then inhale, take that top hand up towards the ceiling for the last few breaths. Gorgeous. And ground down through your legs and inhale, rise up. Exhale, arms down, toes point forward. Lovely. Heel toe your feet together. Now I'm going to you'll have to grab your towel rolled up. I'm going to grab a block. And what I might do is just use this so you get a side view. So basically, we're going to stand in L pose away from the wall, or you can use your couch there. Right, hands on the couch, hands on the wall, walking your feet back so that you're nice and long through your body. Heels are underneath your hips, block squeezing between your thighs. You're going to inhale, turn the inner thighs and work the block backwards, or the blanket backwards, the towel backwards, and then lift pubic bone towards navel so that you're pushing the seat bones away from you, the hamstrings back into the thighs, and you're lengthening through the back here, really allowing everything to release. Nice work. That's it. So folding forward at the hips, squeezing.
I pretty much missed all of that, Christine.
Okay. Do you want me? I'll repeat. All right.
Okay.
So taking the block between the thighs. So just like we did in that table action before, step about a body's width away from the couch. A little bit further back, even further. Yeah, that looks about right. Perfect. Now we're going to hinge forward at the hips so that the blanket, the towel moves backwards, or the block moves backwards, and you're doing that anterior tilt of the pelvis as you fold forward. And you're going to reach out, bring your hands to the couch, lengthening through the sides of your body. The action is to take the thigh bones back, push the hands into the couch, create length, lift up your armpits, lengthen through the spine as you move the thigh bones back into the hamstrings, and tilt the pelvis forward using the blanket between your inner thighs to remind you to tip the pelvis forward. Feeling a bit of a sensation down the hamstrings and maybe through the length of the back. Just holding for another breath. That looks gorgeous. And then inhale, just walking the feet up towards the hands. Gorgeous. You can remove the blanket. Wonderful. And make your way to seated on your mat. We're just about at shavasana. You've done so amazing. So bending your knees, right? You'll notice that when you have your knees bent, it's easier to kind of keep that tilt and the straightness in your lower back, right? So that's the modification for any of these hamstring poses. And then you can bring your hands beside you, keeping that lift. I can feel my abs working here just as much as anything else. The action then, you can begin to walk your seat bones back and straighten your legs. And just inch them back a little bit, see how it feels. Inch them back a little bit more. And you might get to here where there's still a bend in the knees, or you might get to the legs coming straight. But you want to be working that anterior tilt of the pelvis, so the curve is in the lower back. Now you can grab your strap, place it around the balls of your feet, sit up nice and tall. There you go. I love the belt. It's like a lasso. It's fabulous. And sit up nice and tall. Now, when I first started practicing yoga, this was my forward fold. Yeah, working the thigh bones back into the hamstrings, working that curve in the lower back, and working sitting up nice and tall. Once you start being able to feel okay here, you can begin to bend the elbows and hinge forward at the hips, just like that action we just took earlier. We're moving at the hips, but the spine is staying long. That's it. Perfect. You've got it. You're a natural. Look at you. And you'll notice the sensation increase as the angle increases. You find that place where you're like, this is enough sensation for me, and hold back. Amazing. And then inhale, rising up. Release the strap. Bend your knees again, and this time scooch forward on the mat. Rolling down onto your back. Just hug your knees in towards your chest, and you can just give your knees a little circle, massaging into the lower back, and then going the other way. And then hug your knees in towards your chest. And place your feet on the mat. You can take your knees out wide and bring your feet together if you want to relax into supported rest pose. Feet out wide, knees together, palms facing the ceiling. Or you can lengthen your legs out long, coming into shavasana. Allow your feet to relax to the outside edges of your mat, eyes closed. And breathe into the sensations of your body right now. If you can, just allow yourself with every exhalation to soften and relax a little bit more. And then slowly begin to deepen your breath. Gently wriggle your fingers and toes and bring movement back into your body. When you're ready, just begin to roll to one side of your body. And then use the strength of your arms to return yourself to a comfortable seated position. Keep your eyes closed and bring your hands together in front of your heart. To our ability to make progress towards touching our toes or anything else we desire in life, and let go of the need for perfection. We bow. Namaste.